Muy buenos días, ya estamos aquí en la Miranda School TV. Mi nombre es James Reporter, y hoy es jueves 14 de mayo. Y hoy, como cada mañana, tenemos un programa muy interesante para ti. Vamos a empezar la mañana con un poco de movida chimpancé. ¡Oh! ¿Qué será esto? Nuestros profesores de Infantil 5 nos enseñan algo muy interesante sobre estos animales. A continuación, los estudiantes de segundo de bachillerato nos van a hablar en latín sobre el anfiteatro. ¡Wow! Interesante. Luego, un poquito de mindfulness con Pluto. ¡Oh! Monse miró, qué sorpresa nos tienes preparada. Luego será un cuento de nuestra profe Sara Nichols amenizado con su arpa. ¡Wow! Storytelling muy interesante. Continuaremos con una nueva entrega de Meeting My Friends de la mano de Brian y su amigo Kevin. ¿De dónde será? No te pierdas su entrevista. Y después, para amenizar la mañana y seguir con el ritmo del día, gracias Ignasi por poner música y baile a nuestras vidas. ¡Dentro vídeo!
Mr. Man, Adventure with Monsters. It was a dark and stormy night, and little Miss Scary and her friends were driving to the fair. Little Miss Scary loved the fair. She loved all the scary rides, and, best of all, she loved the ghost train. Mr. Jelly was not so excited. However, as they were driving over the heath, her scaremobile suddenly spluttered and jolted to a halt. "We've run out of petrol!" cried Mr. Jelly. "Oops!" said Mr. Forgetful. "I knew there was something I meant to do." The scaremobile had broken down by a tall set of iron gates, opening onto a long driveway leading up to a tall house set on the hill. "Shall we see if they can help?" suggested little Miss Scary. They all went up to the house in the wind and rain and knocked at the enormous front door. With a loud groan, the door creaked open, and in the doorway stood a tall, bulky, square-headed figure. "Welcome. Do come in," said the figure in a deep, rumbling voice. Inside, in the light of the hallway, they saw their host more clearly. He closed the door behind them with a loud bang. Mr. Jelly shook with fear. It's Frankenstein's monster!" he cried. They all shrieked and fled through the nearest doorway. Little Miss Scary and her friends found themselves in a library full of dusty bookshelves. As they looked around, they heard a low moan, and a ghost floated into the room through the wall. Little Miss Giggles giggled nervously. "Don't worry," said Mr. Tickle. "It's only little Miss Scary playing a trick. I know just how to sort this out." He reached out his long arms to tickle the ghost, but his tickling fingers passed harmlessly right through it. "Whoa!" wailed the ghost. "Help!" They all cried and ran from the room in different directions. Little Miss Neat and Little Miss Quick rushed up the staircase into a bedroom. A werewolf sat up in bed, and a skeleton stepped out of the wardrobe. "Yikes!" cried little Miss Neat. Quick as a flash, little Miss Quick grabbed the skeleton's leg and tossed it out of the open window. "Fetch!" she cried, and the werewolf leapt out of the window after the bone, and the skeleton collapsed in a heap. "That was quick thinking," said little Miss Neat. Meanwhile, little Miss Scary and Mr. Bump had fled into the bathroom, but they were no safer. There was a mummy soaking in the bath. Mr. Bump turned to escape from the room, but he slipped on the wet floor and landed with a great splash in the bath. What a chaotic bundle of bandages! At the very top of the house, Mr. Greedy and Mr. Jelly found themselves in a very dusty attic. I, I, I don't think this is any ordinary house," stammered Mr. Jelly. "This is a haunted house." "What's that?" asked Mr. Greedy, pointing at a shape hanging from the rafter. "Is it a bat?" "That's not a bat," shrieked Mr. Jelly. "That's Dracula." "Welcome," said Dracula, with a very pointy-toothed grin. Mr. Jelly screamed and ran from the room, but Mr. Greedy was not scared at all. And do you know why? Mr. Greedy had eaten 3 loaves of garlic bread for lunch. Everyone knows how much vampires hate garlic, and that's a lot of garlic. It was Dracula's turn to be scared. Everyone gathered out on the landing. "We need to get out of here, fast!" trembled little Miss Scary, and they all agreed. Just then, the heavy clump of Frankenstein's monster's boots sounded on the stairs. He was not a very fast mover. Unlike little Miss Quick. "Quick, this way!" she cried and led them down the back stairs into the kitchen. Where a slippery, slobbery slime monster grinned at them from the sink. And then, with a loud slurp, it hurled itself at them. Everyone ran, but Mr. Messy was not quick enough. Mr. Messy was now super slimy messy and green. Poor Mr. Jelly hadn't been able to keep up, and he had got separated from the others. He was all alone in the haunted house. As quiet as a mouse, he crept through the house until he found a cupboard under the stairs. Inside the door there stood a huge pair of boots. He climbed inside one of the huge boots and breathed a sigh of relief. But Mr. Jelly hadn't chosen a good hiding place. Suddenly, the boot he was in was lifted and turned upside down and given a good shake. Out fell Mr. Jelly onto the floor. It was the owner of the huge boots, Bigfoot. "Ugh!" screamed Bigfoot, jumping up on a stool. "It's a spider." "No, it's a mouse." "No, it's a—" "What are you?" "I'm Mr. Jelly," said Mr. Jelly, who suddenly felt rather brave. He had found someone even more frightened than he was. All of Mr. Jelly's friends had rushed into the living room. It was a warm and cozy living room, but they all shivered when they saw the large hairy figure sitting on the sofa beside the fire. It was the abominable snowman. "Welcome," he growled. The friends turned to escape, but Bigfoot came stomping through the door towards them. "Oh, help! He's captured Mr. Jelly!" yelled little Miss Scary. There was no escape. Little Miss Scary and her friends hid in the corner. And then in walked the skeleton, the ghost, the mummy, and the werewolf. And finally, Frankenstein's monster. Who was pushing a tea trolley. "Anyone for tea?" he said. "The monsters aren't scary at all," explained Mr. Jelly. "They just wanted to invite us for tea." Mr. Jelly grinned. It was not often that he was the least frightened person in a room. "I'll be mother," said the mummy, and poured a cup of tea for everyone. "One lump of sugar or two?" asked Dracula. "I have a very sweet tooth." And they all had a jolly time toasting crumpets in front of the fire. After tea, Frankenstein's monster filled the scaremobile with petrol, and they sped off to the fair, arriving before it closed. Little Miss Scary looked at the scary roller coaster, and she looked at the scary Ferris wheel, and she looked at the scary helter-skelter, and then she looked at the very scary ghost train. "Maybe it's time to go home," she said. "I think we've had quite enough scares for one night, even for me," and everyone wholeheartedly agreed.
Let's do a volcano experiment at home. You can make your volcano in different ways. With aluminium foil, blocks or Lego, with card, or just a cup. We used homemade dough, and here's how we did it. You need 2 cups of salt, 3 cups of flour, and 1 cup of water. Mix it all together until you have a nice dough. We covered the bottle and let it dry, and we decorated the tray with trees and dinosaurs. Now for the eruption. You will need vinegar, dish soap, bicarbonate of soda, some warm water, and some food coloring or red paint. How to make your volcano erupt.
What? Lava is hot! Oh, you're right!
Add the soap to the water. Now add some baking soda too.
Let's sing a song.
Add some color. And mix it up.
Volcanoes erupt, volcanoes erupt, boom, boom, boom.
Then pour it into your volcano.
Magma is inside, magma is inside, magma is inside, inside the volcano.
Finally, add the vinegar.
And learn about the
Now watch how the ingredients react to make the volcano erupt.
Lava flows outside, lava flows outside, lava flows outside, outside the volcano. Lava is cold, lava is cold, lava is cold. Burr, burr, burr.
You can add more baking soda and vinegar for even more eruptions.
Oh, you're right. Ah! Let's sing a song. Do, 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 do. And learn about the world. Do, 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 do.
We also tried it again in a glass, experimenting different ways to mix the ingredients.
Volcanoes erupt.
And look what happened!
Magma is inside. Magma is inside.
You can do it as many times as you want.
Let's sing a song. Do, 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 do. And learn about the world. Do, 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 do. Lava flows outside. Lava flows outside. Lava flows outside. Outside the volcano.
Now it's your turn. Have fun, everyone, with your volcano experiments.
Spring, flower pot, snail, rainbow, kite, nest, bird, flowers, watering can, seedling, sunshine, raincoat, feather. We've seen spring things.
Hello, everybody. Nice to see you again in another mindfulness lesson. So, for today, we're going to be talking about something that affects everybody, kids and adults. So, we're going to be talking about stress and how to manage stress using mindfulness. Okay? Great. So first, for our starting point, we're going to be practicing a little mindful breathing. Okay? So remember, the breath is the most important tool we have to be aware of how we are feeling and to be able to calm down when we're feeling worried, sad, angry, frustrated. Okay? So we're going to do a little mindful breathing. And for today, I brought a really cool and relaxing music to help you just calm down a little bit. Maybe you have been doing a lot of things, a lot of works with school or activities in your home. And remember, it's really important we take a little break during the day just to calm down and relax a little bit, okay? So for today's exercise, mindful breathing exercise, we're going to be listening to this beautiful music. Okay, so I'm going to put the music on. Very good. Okay, so you're going to be closing your eyes. You're going to put your back straight but relaxed, shoulders relaxed, back straight, and we are gently going to close our eyes. And we're going to be focusing on this beautiful music and the beautiful sounds of nature. Try to see if you can imagine imagine yourself in this beautiful forest, sitting by a calm river. Listen to the water going by. Listen to the birds around you. And just imagine you're in this peaceful and calm place. And we're going to breathe very slowly in and out. In and out. Pay attention to your breath, feeling all your body and the air coming out when you exhale. Listen to the sounds of nature around you. Keep breathing very slowly and try to pay attention to how are you feeling at this present moment. How is your body feeling? How is your mind feeling? How are you feeling right now? And keep breathing very, very slow. Very good. So very slowly, we're going to start to come back from that calm and beautiful place you're in. And when you hear the sound of the bell, gently, gently open your eyes very, very slowly. Very good. Welcome back. Very good. So, how did that feel? Were you able to listen to the sounds of the water, the birds, the beautiful flute singing? So this is a really nice exercise you can try at any time of the day you want. When you feel you have to calm down and you need a little break, you can look for calm music and sounds of nature There's a lot of this type of videos and sounds in internet, and just try to put that on, and maybe if you feel comfortable you can maybe lay down on your bed and just listen to the sounds that help you transport you to a beautiful and calm place where you can be relaxed and calm. I really hope you have enjoyed it. I have enjoyed it a lot. I really find the sounds of nature, they bring me peace. Okay, so now that we are calm, we're going to be talking about something that takes away that calmness. And that something is called stress. And stress is a completely normal emotion or feeling we have when we feel like we have a lot of things in our mind, when we maybe have a lot of things to do, and we get a little stressed. And to be stressed sometimes it's okay because it motivates us to do stuff, but being stressed like all the time and for long periods of time is not healthy for the body. And that's why we need to start being more aware of when we are getting stressed in a level that is not healthy. So, for that, I am going to give you a mindful tip. So, the tip is try to see when you are feeling stressed where in your body you feel this stress. Where in your body do you feel the stress that you are perceiving from the outside? So remember, the emotions, they project in our physical body, okay? So for example, for me, when I feel stressed, I feel it in my chest. I feel like a tension in my chest. Some of you may also feel it in your chest, or some of you feel it in your head, or some of you feel it in your hands, like in any part of your body. The idea is for you to be able to identify in what part of your body do you feel the stress. So I'm going to give you a little minute for you to think a little bit of maybe a stressful situation you are in, and try to see if you can feel it in your body and in what part of your body, okay? So if you want, you can close your eyes and just imagine that situation and pay attention where in your body you feel the stress. Okay, so some of you, as I said, can feel it in the chest. Also, the stress accumulates in the shoulders and in the neck. So that's why I recommend before you do any mindfulness exercise like the breathing or the mindful listening to do a little exercises for relaxing that part of your body where the stress tends to accumulate. Okay? Okay, so that's one first tip. So identify where in your body do you feel the stress. Because if you're aware of the sensation in your body, you're going to be able to know how stressed are you. Okay? So, the next thing you're going to do is try to see in what level is your stress. So, we're going to put a rate of, we're going to rate the stress. So, 1 is I am a little stressed, but it's not too super bad. And 10 is I am super stressed and I think I'm going to go crazy, and that happens, okay? Sometimes we have like a high levels of stress. So the next time you feel stressed, what you're going to do is you're going to see, maybe take a little pause and see, okay, so what is my level of stress? So is it a 1? Is it a 2? Maybe it's a 7 because this situation is like getting me really stressed. Or maybe it's like almost a 10 and I need to do something because this is not healthy, feeling this stress, and it's not helping me do anything. Sometimes when we're super stressed, we just get blocked Okay, so being mindful of our stress level and being aware of our stress level is going to help us take action and be able to say, hey, stop, I'm not gonna let my stress like overwhelm me. I'm going to stop, and what are we going to do? I think you know. So we're going to stop and we're going to take deep breath. So if you're stressed, if you feel the stress is in at 8 or a 9, that it's really high, you can just take 1 minute of mindful breathing and see if you can lower that stress maybe to a 5 or to a 4, and just keep breathing and try to see if you can lower that stress. Okay, it's very important we are able to manage our stress so it doesn't get to an unhealthy level. Okay, so we are going to pay attention to our sensations in our body where we feel our stress, and then we are going to rate the stress and see in what level the stress is. Okay, so for example, let me think of a maybe stressful situation you might be in at this moment. Okay, so you have to deliver a work for the school. You have to do a presentation or something that you have for homework, okay? And you are feeling like you're starting to get a little stress, and you start to feel it like in your chest, it's a little uncomfortable. So you just feel it, okay? And you are okay with that because it's not right now like a 5 or a 6, so maybe it's like a 3, so you can manage it. But then the time to deliver this homework, it's getting closer and you haven't done it yet, okay? And you start getting a little bit more stressed, okay? So you rate your stress and you say, okay, I think I'm almost getting into a 9 of stress. My stress level is 9. So I think I am going to do mindful breathing and see if I can lower that stress so I can be able to focus better and concentrate and make this homework work. Okay, because sometimes stress, as I said before, it blocks us. So it's important we are aware of what level we're in and we do something about it to calm down. Okay? Very good. So that's what I wanted to share with you today, and this is a very useful tool. You can use any time in the day that you want, that you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed, or you can also do it with another emotions like anger, like how angry am I? Like am I at 10 in angry? Like I'm going crazy angry? And it's like a thermometer to measure the level of the emotion and let you know where you're at. Remember, mindfulness is paying attention to what's happening inside us. Is one of the most important things. Knowing what's happening inside us is going to help us make good decisions to calm down, to self-regulate. So you have another tool in your toolbox, in your mindfulness toolbox, that you can use anytime you want. Remember, practicing mindful breathing before you go to sleep or at the beginning of the day is going to help you keep your stress levels low. And that's what we want to do. Keep the stress levels low. And when they come up, we'll be able to tone it down. And it's completely normal. It's sometimes you feel like your stress levels are super high. It's important you notice that and do the breathing, do the mindfulness we have been working on. And also, it can help you talk to somebody that's around you. Maybe your mom, your dad, your sister, your teacher. You can reach out to your teachers and say, hey, I am super stressed. I'm getting in a level where I can't manage it. I need some help. Maybe you can help me with this. Okay, so it's also important we communicate how we are feeling, because there's always people around you that can help you feel better. Okay, so this is what it for today. I really hope you use this tool because for me it has been great. and it has helped me a lot. And I always do my mindful breathing when I'm like super stressed. So I really encourage you to do that. So thank you very much, and I'll see you next class. Bye.
Hello guys, one more time, welcome again to our dance. Are you ready to have fun and move your body? Let's do it! Well done! Congratulations to all of you. Thank you for joining me one more time. See you around and have fun and enjoy the rest of the journey. Bye bye!
Y hasta aquí el capítulo de hoy. Se despide James Reporter. Nos vemos mañana. Cuídate.